Hey everyone, I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like to attend a first response skills check. After you've taken your online class within 45 days, you need to take a hands-on skills check. And we have locations all around. And at this point, you've probably registered for one. And you're just going to come during whatever appointment time you have. Get there a few minutes early, ideally 10 to 15 minutes early, and so that you can get checked in beforehand. And once you get there, then we'll have a bench out front or something like that in a parking lot in front of a child care, elder care facility, or some sort of facility wherever we're teaching a class at later that day. And so you'll just come to that parking lot area. You'll see us out in the parking lot with that bench, and you'll stay outside. Remember, these are not inside unless you've been specifically told so. And so you'll just come find us, and we'll go ahead and do the hands-on portion of your training. You're going to do CPR and also choking on how to respond for both adult, child, and infant. Also know that you have an appointment time, and so that means that your instructor is going to plan to be there at that time. And so if you want to move to a different appointment, that's totally fine, but it's really helpful for us if you reschedule beforehand so that we know that we don't have to be standing out there and prepared for you. We want to have a good spot ready to go for you for that skills check, but it's just helpful for us to know if you need to move to a different appointment. It's helpful for us to know sooner rather than later. So don't forget to reschedule if you need to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about what it actually looks like to do a skills check. We're going to kind of walk through it so that you know what to expect. All right, guys, so this is what a skills check looks like. We just have a bench out here with a mannequin on top of it. Holly will be here to take the skills check, and so she would come up, and I would just ask what her name is, and I would go ahead and check her off on my list that I have as the instructor, and then we're going to go ahead and go through it. So normally your instructor is going to give you a quick refresher beforehand, so they're going to go through the skills. Basically, just remember 30 compressions, 2 breaths, and go through that process there. But in this case, Holly will be doing that. So I would just go ahead and observe her she's come up at her appointment time, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure she has all of her skills correctly. So we're going to go through adult CPR real quick. Okay. So adult CPR, you start out with trying to wake them, well, for all ages, we're always trying to wake them up first. And then we go in and check in we tell someone to call 911, then check for breathing, and then go ahead and do our compressions and our breaths and go through that cycle. Is how that will go. So, Holly, first up, go ahead and try to see if they're awake, see if they're conscious.
Wait, wake up.
No, they're not responding, so that means you need to do what?
Call 911 and get the AD.
Awesome. And then we're going to go ahead and check for?
Breathing.
Okay, no breathing. And then we go ahead and start with those 30 compressions. So right there in the center of the chest, great, and make sure that's in the right spot. We go ahead and start with our 30 and 2.
1, 2, 3, 2.
Great work. So she just went through those skills, and we were able to see that. And then we would go through child and adult and all that kind of stuff. And then we go ahead and also do the choking maneuver so that we can get that practice as well. But for the sake of this video, we'll stop at that point. But you guys know that that's what the rest of your skills check would look like. Just like we're saying here, it's just out in a parking lot, like you can see here, out in front of a facility that we're teaching at later on. So that's what it looks like to attend a skills check. Just generally takes about 15 minutes or less is kind of what you can expect. But again, that appointment time that you have is really important to make sure that you are there at that time. But here's just a little bit more information now that you kind of got an idea of what it looks like to attend a skills check. All right, so now you know what it looks like to attend a skills check with first response. Just a few things to remember. Remember that you can reschedule your appointment if you need to. If you need to switch over to a different time, that's totally okay to do that. Just do that before your appointment so that we know how to be prepared for you. Note that there's also resources that we have for you guys. Those resources like posters and other types of handouts and things like that, along with articles that we have for you. But those posters, if you're at your skills check, you can ask your instructor for a poster, and they should be able to give that to you. If you are interested in getting a barrier device, you can also ask them, and those do have a cost though. Note that you can also text your instructor with information that's in your email that you got for confirmation. And you can text them so that you know what to, if you just have any questions for them about like where they are or anything like that, you're confused on where to go for your skills check, anything that you have, you can always text your instructor about those questions and they'll get those answered for you if you need to contact them. That's again in your email. And if you guys have any questions for us, you can email us at info@firstresponsecpr.com, or you can again text your instructor directly and ask them any questions that you may have. But we hope this was helpful for you to help you get prepared for your skills check. And remember, you need to complete this within 45 days of your your online training.